Good morning. Well, welcome back into part two of Dream. This is so exciting. We're set up over on Facebook, streaming in our Co-Create Facebook community group, and over here on Instagram. I'm so pumped for today, you guys. I hope you watched part one, by the way. If you missed part one, go watch it. Stop watching. Go watch it. And because each lesson builds upon the last. Okay. So today's not really going to make much sense if you haven't caught part one. So welcome back into the room, you guys. I hope you immersed yourself in yesterday's conversation and did the journal prompts, the integration questions, and really took it deeper, because remember that the more that we put into this, the more, when you register, that email that you get that says, even though this is a free event, treat it as though you pay 10K for it. Like, imagine, like, feel the shift, okay? It's huge. So we're here, fully immersed, got your notebook out, you're taking notes, you're feeling the conversation, okay? So let me know that you're watching, whether you're on live with me, hey, or on the replay. You guys are doing amazing work here, okay? So I wanted to mention something before we get into the conversation today, that I was on a call yesterday with my Q2 group, which is my micromind, my quarterly micromind, and I mentioned a quote from a book that I had just stumbled across, the day before. And this is what it said. Okay, you have to excuse me because my throat's sore. I don't know if you can tell. It said that abundance, happiness, and purpose find you when you are on the right energetic path and when you are a whole, complete human. Let me interpret that into my own words. Abundance, happiness, and purpose will find you when you are in alignment with it and you are the best of yourself in that current perception of what is possible, okay? Manifestation, I'm continuing with the quote, manifestation requires staying in alignment with your best intentions and highest good. The work is managing the defeating thoughts, feelings, and actions that throw you out of alignment. That is the work. Okay. So manifestation, when we are working towards a desire, we're going to get deeper into this today, it requires us to, if we would like to realize it into our physical reality, aka change our situation, we must manage the defeating thoughts, feelings, and actions that throw us out of alignment. Okay, so yesterday on this conversation, on this call I had with my community, I gave the analogy of a bridge. It's like there's two mountains, okay? One mountain is where you're at currently right now, here and now. The other mountain is where you want to be. Like your ideal situation, your ideal circumstances, your ideal wealth, health, all of the things, your ideal experience, okay? What's in between? This is what we're going to get into deeper today. What's the in between? And so, according to this quote I just shared, the work is managing the defeating thoughts, feelings, and actions that throw you out of alignment. So yesterday we had some of it starting to come up when we started to realize, we started to become aware of, holy cow, I do these things out of habit because I was told this is how it's supposed to be. Oh, right? So we have so much more awareness today. Already, just from yesterday's conversation, your awareness is like through the roof, okay? So now we're going to build on that and begin to tap into something that you might have not known about before. Okay, so when we're talking about this bridge, the work is managing the defeating thoughts, we're going to start to talk about what are these defeating thoughts and what are they doing to us if we give our power to them, okay? For the sake of this analogy, say we're like, manifesting this experience, this lifestyle that we know we're here for, we know in our soul. Maybe it's a business that has a certain level of success. Like we know in our bones that it is for us, right? It is direct alignment, we are relating to it, all the things. And then something in our mind or in our 3D physical, because it's a reflection of our mind, it says, no, you're not good enough. No, you're not good enough. Who are you to do that? How selfish of you to think that that is even okay. There are starving people in the world, and you want what? Right? All of these thoughts of lack and limitation. What's happening when we are on that bridge, kind of like the bridge of incidence, right? When we give our power to those thoughts, which we're going to talk more about, when we give our power to those thoughts, we literally throw ourselves off the bridge. Okay? We throw ourselves off the bridge. And then it's really, really easy for us to stay off the bridge. It's really easy for us to be like swimming in the water that's below there. Being like, oh, my life sucks. I'm so bad at everything. Like, everything's happening to me. I'm such a victim, and, no one's helping me, and if only I could blah, blah, blah. It's really easy to stay down there. Okay, and I want you to, this might bring up some emotion. This might bring up, I might trigger you in some way, and that's okay. Okay. I'm sharing this because I wish somebody would have said this to me. Okay, so when we're down there, there's this book called U Squared, Y-O-U squared, like a little 2. And in the book, he gives this example of a fly. And we've seen this all day, every day, forevermore, right? A fly stuck in the kitchen window. Okay, he is flying towards the window, trying to get back outside, trying, and he tries the whole entire day until he dies. Okay, but if he would have known that 4 inches to the right, the window was open. But he spent his whole life hitting that window, running into that window, thinking he was going somewhere. Okay, interesting, right? So when we're down there in the water, it feels like we're that fly until we realize no one is coming to save us. And all we need to do is look to the right. Oh, I just swim to the side of the river, and I just walk up that little path, and I'm back on the bridge. Okay, so we're going to talk more about this because it's, again, yesterday, remember we talked about the power of repetition. The power of repetition. So if we fall off the bridge, throw ourselves off the bridge, it's up to us to get back on it. It's up to us to do it again. Okay, and again, and again, and again, until we build the muscle and start to override those old thoughts, those old patterns, those old habits. Okay, I just posted in my stories before I jumped on here something that might be triggering to some people. And that is the idea that, it's just something that I feel is relevant, okay? And I think that it resonates a lot with most of you here. We have been taught certain things, right? And I'm sharing this because I feel like it goes hand in hand with what we've been talking about yesterday. We've been taught to go to school. We know the school system is creating workers to go and work in the system, okay? They don't teach us entrepreneurship in school for a reason. They don't teach us financial literacy for a reason in school. I want you to hear me, right? Nobody even knows how to do their freaking taxes. Nobody knows how to make money. We're taught that money is evil, and that if you have, and then making a lot of money or being very successful is very hard. We're taught all these things. What are we taught? Ask yourself this. What have I been taught over my lifetime about money? Okay. I feel a big calling to teach more about money, about conscious money. And so let me know if this is something that aligns with you, because I feel like it's very, very, very necessary in our world. So I just want you to ponder that. We have been taught go to school, to get a job, to work as an employee for somebody else, to not have any time off, to work for the weekends, and then marketing, drink on the weekends so you numb your pain from the week. Does this sound familiar? Maybe not everyone here can resonate with this. I do know, there are people that I know that do this, right? And over time, yeah, you get one vacation per year. 1 vacation per year? Are you kidding me? No. Okay, and so do you see what is happening here? And so I really strongly believe that as a human, as our society, we're forgetting who's in control. We're forgetting that we get to call the shots. We're forgetting how, let's see what I want to say here. Forgetting how powerful we are, how ingenuitive we are, how creative we are, how limitless we are. We're forgetting how money is a tool, and money is a resource, and money is a spiritual idea. We are forgetting that our thoughts and these beliefs create a reality. All of this, we were not taught any of this. Some of you here, maybe this is the first time hearing these concepts, and you might be a little like, holy crap, mind blown. Or like questioning everything you've ever heard. That was me, right? Before the quantum leap, there's a quantum crumble. There's a quantum collapse. And then there's the quantum leap. Okay, just keep going. Just keep going. Get yourself in the room with other people moving in that direction. And that's why I've created Rise with Jocelyn, the membership. It's $11 right now, you guys. You get in the community, get in the room, surround yourself with people who are thinking this way, who are working towards being, not becoming, working towards being the best version of themselves, working towards monetizing their own unique gifts and impacting more people around them. This is where we hang out. Okay, so let's jump into the conversation today, shall we? I want to ask you this question, and I want you to write it down. If all things are possible, what do I really, truly want? What do I really, truly want? Okay, right away, remember that our default, especially from how we've lived up until now, our default is to respond through the mind. It is to think through the mind. Okay, I don't want you to go through the mind. I'm not asking you to use your mind. I'm not asking you to think necessarily. I'm not thinking from the mind anyway. I want you to feel, okay? And I want you to remember what we talked about yesterday, all those layers, all those perceptions, all those beliefs that came from well-meaning people doing the best that they could at the time with what they had. Bless them. But all of those ideas we collected along the way, they're no longer who we are. So once we realize this concept, and we begin to realize that we are so much more than our body. We are so much more than our body. We are so much more than our mind. Do you believe that you are your body? Like it's just who you are? Okay, right now, we just finished Module 1 in Activating Abundance, and it was all about health. So we had a lot about the body. And in there, I mentioned that, the body, our physical vessel, our vehicle for this lifetime has very little to do with, our actions, our thoughts, our success. It actually really doesn't have a lot to do with what we want to do. If I ask you about things are possible, what do I really want? It doesn't. The body is the vessel, the vehicle. Okay. So once we realize, we need our body, for sure. We need our body. And we start to look at it differently when we realize that without our health, without our body, we aren't here, as far as we know, right? So beyond our body, beyond our mind, what are we? There's something in the trees out there. Maybe an ardilla squirrel. What are we beyond our body and our mind? I guess no one really knows, to be honest. Like, no one really knows. What I do believe, okay, whether you're religious or not, we are connected. We are all connected to, and I think this is like hard to deny. It's hard to deny that we are not connected, because have you ever thought of someone and then they like message you or like walk by or drive by and you're like, what the? Like, I was just thinking of you. Okay, so in my perspective, we are something, whether you want to call it the formless substance, we are spiritual beings, we are source creative energy, whatever it is. We have an essence within us that is connected to everyone around us and everything, and it's everywhere at the same time. Okay, so when we think of that, And we talked yesterday, did we talk yesterday about the mind? Well, we talked a little bit about our beliefs, and things that we've kind of collected, and how the mind kind of gets involved and derails us a little bit, right? We're going to talk more about that. But when we see the mind for what it is this tool that at the moment might kind of look like an untrained dog, right? Or a wild monkey swinging in the trees. And it's bouncing all over the place. And it's swaying us, swaying our decisions. It's like really loud. Okay. Here we are, seeing the mind for what it is. Okay, the mind is a tool, right? And again, it might look like an untrained dog right now. So what we're doing is we're detaching from the mind, the human mind. Honestly, just observing it in everything we do. And so that's going to be part of the work today, part of the integration homework, is to begin to just observe the mind. Okay, so in anything we do, like we kind of talked about yesterday actually, is like questioning everything we do. Questioning our habits, questioning our beliefs, questioning our ideas, questioning our questions, right? And we really begin to see the mind as something that, it's been controlling us and leading us and keeping us safe for a long time, our whole life. But now we can realize that we are so much more than the mind. We are so much more than the physical human body. And we begin to open up to the idea that we have this infinite spiritual essence, like formless substance within us that has unlimited potential. Okay. And so when we tap into this space and we learn, and honestly, like I call it, like this is the name, all those things, but you can also call this your intuition. You guys all know about your intuition. Do you listen to your intuition? Have you ever done something against your intuition and you're like, I shouldn't have done that. Like I knew I shouldn't have gone, or I knew I shouldn't have done this, right? This is that. Okay, so it's just it's a different way of saying it. So I feel like intuition is just a piece of that formless substance, that spiritual essence that we are. So when we begin to turn up the volume of our intuition and ask ourselves, ourselves as in like our core essence of who we are, and we begin to operate from there, that's when we begin to receive information that we haven't learned, okay? The mind, very mechanical, very linear, likes to figure everything out, likes to know all the details. The mind only knows what it has learned, okay? The mind only knows what it has learned. So when I'm asking you, if all things are possible, what do you desire? What do you really, truly want? Your mind is like, well, we've got this amount of money, we've got this amount of resources, we've got these connections, we live here, and blah, 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 blah. Like, it's like, no, I didn't ask you that. And ask for the mind to get involved. I'm asking you to lean into this formless substance. Okay, some people say it's like we move from the mind into the heart. Okay, and we're spiritual beings living from the heart because the heart is connected to this formless substance. It's in this like feeling, intuitive, heart-led, compassionate space. Okay. So when we tap into this, and really turn up the volume of it, this is when we begin to dream. This is when we begin to remember that we are absolutely limitless. This is when we begin to remember that we are entrepreneurs, that we're actually really unique. Okay, we've just forgot how to trust ourselves. Hands up if you've forgot how to trust yourself. Okay. And so what happens, if we tell ourselves we're going to do something, I want you to ask yourself if you've done this before. You've told yourself that you're going to do something, and then you haven't followed through. You haven't done it. When we do that, again and again, we can probably think of multiple, I know I can, many times that we told ourselves, I'm going to do this. We get all excited about it, and we're like, I'm not going to do it. Like, I can't do it. I'm not good enough. I don't have the resources. It's not time. I don't have the time. I don't have the blah, blah, blah. I don't have the support. I'm not going to do it. We break the trust with ourselves. We begin to question ourselves. We begin to question our motives, our mind, our heart, our soul. We begin to question our abilities. Okay, we forget to trust. We forget how to trust ourselves. It's basically what we're doing there, right? Because if anyone, say it was like a friend, you broke trust with a friend even just once, chances are they don't want to be a friend anymore. Okay, so This is often what we do when we originate an idea. Our initial response is, so for example, I'm asking you, of all things are possible, what do you desire? You have something in your imagination right now. You have something that you're like, fuck, I would really love this. Okay? But our initial response and reaction to this is to look side to side. Like, wonder what he would think, wonder what she would think. And then you bring it to the table even. You bring it to your friend or your partner or whatever. And you're like, I want to do this. What do they say to you? When it's something, we're going to go into like the depth of this in a second here. But chances are they're going to call you some names. They're going to also look at you a little bit like, how? I want to see all the details. Yeah, like, what are you, like, no, that's not even possible. Okay. So when we are looking side to side like that, when we're asking permission, we're waiting for approval, we're waiting for acceptance, what's happening here? We, for one, are giving our mind a lot of opportunity to derail us, right? Our mind's going to be like, any chance it gets is like, hell no, you're not. Like, who are you? Well, all the stories, right? All the stories. But when we're looking side to side, we're giving our power away, honestly. Because there's this thing of like, you know, am I waiting for the world to know how powerful I am, how whatever, like, how creative I am, how authentic I am, how knowledgeable I am? Am I waiting for the world to show me how successful I am, how wealthy I am, how appreciated I am, how abundant I am? Am I waiting for permission from the outside world? Because that's not how this works. Remember that our inside world is a reflection, right? Our outside world is a reflection of the inside. And we are always co-creating, right? Our physical world now is a manifestation of our past thoughts, beliefs, actions, all those ideas and beliefs that we've gathered along the way has brought us to where we are today. We don't feel any certain way about it. We love it. We bless it. And we release it like we talked about yesterday. Right? But from here, we must cultivate the belief within us, the approval, the acceptance, the appreciation within us, the permission. We give ourselves permission. Right? Do you see this? I was stuck in this for so long. Like, I think most of my life. I can remember exactly when I gave myself permission. The end of November 2023. It wasn't that long ago. I gave myself permission. And you guys that have been in my world since then or before probably saw a pretty decent shift in my outside world. It's because my inside world, it was almost like a dam. Like, you know, a dam holding water? Like, I was doing all this work on myself, like personal development, you know, professional development, all of these really building myself up. We're going to talk more about identity tomorrow, but really truly changing my identity. That is, if you want to know the how of coming to Costa Rica along with 2 little kids, that's the how. It's the who. Okay, the how, as we know now, we kind of touched on that. We're going to talk about that more. The how comes after the who. The how is not our responsibility. Okay. So I changed my identity. Okay, we've got to tell the world who we are. And then it will be mirrored back to us. Okay, sometimes in manifestation, there is a lag. You know, like you're on the phone. And they're, hello. You know, there's a lag. Okay, so we have to be okay in the in-between of like, in between where we are physically and where we want to be. There needs to be this level of faith that is absolutely unwavering, just like that conversation, that quote said, right? So we'll talk more about that in a second as well. What I started saying was like a dam, right? It was a dam. I was like, I've changed it. And then as soon as I gave myself permission to go first, and I was like, fuck, I'm done waiting for other people. And also, when other people would actually do the thing, I was like, in my head, I was like, I could do that way better. Like, what am I waiting for? But I was hiding. I was hiding because I was still unsure of myself. I was still building trust in myself. And it's scary, right? You guys can probably relate. Like, it's scary to put yourself out there. It's scary to go out on your own. For a long time, I was working under a company. Okay, and I loved it. Like, it was great. It was cool. It was under a company, and I was able to be under a company. But November 2023, I was like, oh my God, this doesn't feel aligned anymore. Not as I was doing it before. So I gave myself permission to go out on a limb and do something completely different than I've ever done before. Okay. And I stopped waiting for approval. I stopped waiting for acceptance. I stopped waiting for permission. Okay, I hope this is relating to you. I know it is to some degree, whether you're a business owner or not. How are you holding yourself back because you're waiting for permission from the outside world? Whether it's through other people, whether it's through, situations. So when we are doing this, when we are showing up without, in that energy of like, I'm waiting for permission, I'm just kind of like, I'll just like blend in, or like I'll walk on eggshells, or I'll just share as part of the story. I'll be safe, I'll just be safe. We're diluting our message, of course, and it's landing all fuzzy. It's landing fuzzy. And so what I mean by that is that when we show up in life or in business and we're just like half of us, it's almost like a shell. And you can probably feel when you've met somebody or you know somebody who's like this, who's kind of just like blending in. Okay, this is because they've detached from themselves. They're literally just a body, or they think they are, right? They're literally just acting in, like going through the motions. Okay, a lot of us have done this, right? And there's nothing wrong with this. I don't want to say this is a bad thing. This is incredible information and awareness. And it's up to that person directly to realize this. That's why I always tell you guys to share this. If this feels in alignment with you, your values, and you really truly believe in what I'm saying here, like share it. Share it, because more people need to know about this. More people need to know that they're just waiting for what? I don't know, waiting their whole life away. Okay, so when we show up in this detached energy of almost like, I don't trust myself, it feels very insecure. It feels very fuzzy. And so especially if you're a business owner, this is why your business is not growing. One big reason anyway, is that you are not being authentically you, full, raw, real you. This is business today. That we are like insanely authentic, okay? Insanely authentic. If someone says, I don't know, they're lacking confidence, right? Lacking confidence, lacking direction. If I ask you, if all things are possible, what do you desire? And you say, I don't know. It's because you need to trust yourself. You need to turn up the volume of your intuition. You need to sit with yourself. How often do you sit with yourself? Doing nothing, just listening, just sitting there. Okay, and in the beginning, if you just start doing this, your mind's going to be fucking loud. It's going to be loud. And that's okay, but we can, over time, stay with it. Get yourself in the room, remember, and surround yourself with people who believe in you more than you believe in you. And you start to see the mind for what it is. You begin to detach and you begin to tune in and turn up this volume. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit more about decision making. Okay, this is really important because sometimes we hold off our decisions until we've got all the information. We do this all the time. We do this all the time. This is what I want, but I don't have this, right? The money's not there. The resources aren't there. The people aren't in place. The time is not there. Like whatever it is. So yesterday we talked a little bit about the bridge of incidents. The bridge of incidents. After a decision is made, everything happens in exact timing. Okay, if you want to look back from today, and you can see how everything, all these events in your life have happened one after the other, one led to the last. This is the bridge of incidents. So we can unconsciously be following the bridge of incidents, or we can consciously be open and ready to receive the next step. And we can be really mindful about this and really choose, okay, because maybe up until now, you have been a little bit more on the unconscious, going through the motions of life, feeling like life is happening to you, a little bit in the systematic way of existing. But now we know, I hope you realize how much more awareness you now have. We know that we actually get to choose where we go next. We don't need to allow the 3D physical world to control us anymore. Our results, if we allow our results to control us, and if we allow our results to dictate our thoughts, our feelings, that dictates our frequency and our vibration, our point of attraction. It dictates what's coming to us next through the bridge of incidents, right? But it also dictates our actions, right? So with the bridge of incidents, like, we have an opportunity to tune into and turn up the volume of this intuition, of this spiritual essence that we are and is us. And we can begin to co-create with, whatever you want to say, the universe. We can begin to co-create, okay? And so when we have made a decision, everything starts to happen for us. But there needs to be I'm going to say a relativity, I think that's the word. There needs to be an alignment. Okay, so we're going to talk more about relatability tomorrow, but when there is a decision, if we don't relate to it, there's a disconnect, okay? So I'll use a simple personal example. We drove our truck from Canada to Costa Rica last year, and we had to leave the truck in Mexico for various reasons, but we left it in Mexico, in a storage unit in Mexico, and it was actually for a few months, because I had built up this idea in my head that it was going to be a really big thing, okay? It was going to be a really big mission to go back to Mexico and drive from Mexico to Costa Rica through those like 6 different countries, or however many there are. Okay, I had built up this idea. Sometimes we do this with even just the littlest things. We like build it up to be like this massive mountain, like Mount Everest just standing in front of you, and you were like, oh God, I'm gonna have to hike all the way to the top. You know, so it's actually kind of interesting, because when I finally sat down and, well, actually finally realized, remember, it's awareness, everything's awareness, I finally realized what I was doing, and I was like, that's it. I'm done not having a car here. Like, we have a beautiful, functioning vehicle, and it's just sitting in Mexico. Like, what's the deal? So I sat down, got my notebook out, and I'm a visual processor and a verbal processor, if you have not noticed. And I started to write, if all things are possible, what does this look like? What does this look like? How, like, not necessarily the how, but it's like, what does this look like? Because my mind needed to relate to this situation. When the mind is like, no chance in hell you're ever doing that, it's going to be harder to relate to that desire, which you know in your imagination, you're like, your heart is in it, but your mind is like, there's no effing way. There's a disconnect. It's like this push and pull. And yes, we can disconnect from our mind. We can see it for what it is, all the things, but really what we want to do is get the mind on board. And that just takes practice, and that just takes a little bit of persuasion. You know how you like convince a toddler to do something? This is what we're talking about here. All right. So we just need to get a little bit creative. And so I got out my book and I started writing, and I was like, see, if this and this and this, you know, this is the flight. So I'm like, okay, well, what do we need to do if we go get the truck? We book the flight. Who's going to be here with the kids? Because I'm not taking all 3 kids again. I got to get somebody here. So at first we called Andy's mom. Hey, can you come next week? We're going to go get the truck. And she said yes initially, and then she said no. And I was like, well, if it's not this, it's something better. Something better. You know how you notice how I'm not like, well, fuck, we're not meant to go then. I got to take all the kids. It's worst case scenario. And I start spiraling down, and I literally threw myself off the bridge. No. I said, okay, she can't come. It's this or something even better. So then I was like, okay, well, I'll message my mom. And I messaged my mom and was like, hey, can you come live at our house for 2 weeks with the 2 of the kids? And she's like, yeah, sure. Books the plane ticket the next day. I hadn't even booked the plane tickets to go to Mexico yet. Mom's already got the plane ticket to come here. Okay, so then I'm like, okay, well, we need the plane ticket. And then I started to do a little bit of research on the trip, on the journey. And I was like, well, shit, I already drove from BC in Canada to Mexico City. And that was this many thousand kilometers. And then from Mexico City to here is actually only this many thousand kilometers. So I've already done the chunk of the work. See how the mind can then get involved. The mind can then get involved in a productive way. Then the mind's like, oh, okay, this could be possible then. That logical mind. And so once I saw that on paper and I started to relate to it, this is how it really truly blended, and this is how we merged the worlds together, right? Because I had been visualizing, I was like, the truck's out here, the truck's out, it's parked in my driveway, driving it around, all the things. I had been doing that, but the mind the mind believed there was this like huge mountain in front of us, in between us and the truck. And so see how it's really powerful. The mind is really powerful. But if we really truly make a decision and relate to it, this is when the bridge of incidents is like, it's like we're on a jet, honestly, flying towards our desire. And everything starts happening so fast. We like open the floodgates, bam, everything's happening. Okay. So same as when I was in that situation I shared with you, like I almost call my past life. Like when I was in like the dire depths of like single motherhood, government housing, all the things, very much lack and limitation. And I made that decision to go out of Canada for a winter and decided on Costa Rica. The bridge of incidents happened because I've related to it. Okay, there takes a level of delusion to relate to something as well. Sometimes, when it's something like what we're talking about here, there's a level of delusion. You start to it's almost like you must override the mind. Okay, and if you override the mind enough times, you're going to convince yourself of this new idea being real. And then when we're living in this space, which we're really going to talk about tomorrow, and embodying this new identity of that version of you who actually has that thing, experience, amount of wealth, success, whatever it is, we begin to move differently. This is what tomorrow's conversation is about, by the way. Okay, so you see how the how isn't up to us, right? We are spiritual beings with an intellectual mind having a human experience. We have a mind that can think. Most people don't think. We just accept other people's ideas. Remember, we talked about that yesterday. We do not want to just go around accepting everything as truth. Okay? We're going to start originating ideas. We're going to start tapping into this formless spiritual substance. We're going to start thinking from the heart. How about that? From the soul. We're going to start asking ourselves these deep questions. And then we're going to start originating these like unique, even scary, stretchy ideas, right? So when we realize we have this access to source, this guidance, and we're not alone, like everything is literally happening for us because we are creating our own reality. Okay, I know people that have manifested car accidents. I know people who have like called in insane experiences. So it tends to be really easy for us to manifest what we don't want, right? Because our mind is programmed to think of lack. Our mind is programmed to think of the worst case scenario, always, right? Have you ever said like, oh, like something along the lines of like, don't do that, and then something happens, and you're like, I told you so, I told you so, I told you. Or something happens, and you're like, I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. Fucking manifested it. Good job. You are so powerful. Like, actually, watch yourself. So instead of thinking these things that we don't want, always this worst case scenario of like, oh my God, no signed up. Nobody's going to come. Nobody's going to look at my stuff. No one's going to, believe in me. No one's going to da 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 da. I can go on all day. I'm stuck. I'm a victim. I'm like, nobody's taking care of me. You're just manifesting more of that. And I know this might be like kind of rough to hear, but this is what we're talking about here. So get your mind involved in a good way. Get it under control and start to think only thoughts that serve you. I'm always thinking the best case scenario. Best case scenario every day, all day long, every day. And I catch myself when I hear old lack, limitation, old thoughts and beliefs come up. All we need to do, what do? See them for what they are, change it right away. We override it. Override it, override it, override it. I don't live there anymore. Thank you, bye. But we must override it with a new belief. I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm limitless, I'm going to lead you through an EFT tapping activation. It's going to be a recording, so you're going to have to register to experience it, because we don't have enough time here today to do it live. So it'll be a recording, and it will be on the replays page of the Dream replays, okay? And today's also the last day to register. I'll leave it open until midnight tonight on May 24th, my grandma's birthday. And the link to register is in my profile on Instagram and in our Facebook group here. Okay. So, what else we got to talk about here? So what if we recognize that there are no rules? That there are no rules to our dreams. There's no rules of even how we need to do life. We've been abiding by someone else's rules for so long. So what if we just say, I'm going to start making my own rules now? I'm going to start making my own rules now. So what is it that I really truly want? What is it that I really truly want? Okay, I'm going to teach you something really quick here. When we're talking about like, what do we really truly want? Because our mind is so conditioned and programmed and really like condensed to thinking small. Most of us here, our average, like our default, is like, think about what is actually logically possible. Okay, so when I say, what do you really truly want? You might be thinking something like a massage. Yeah, fucking you want a massage, and you deserve that massage, but that's not what we're talking about here. Okay, so according to Bob Proctor, which I love him. Look him up. He's got a lot of good stuff on YouTube. He is very in the masculine though. A little bit different than what I teach, but so according to him, he's like, there are 3 types of goals. Okay, goals, you can switch that word with it. Desires, dreams, whatever. There are 3 types. Okay, there's an A-type goal, A-type desire, and that is something that we know how to do. We've done it before. It's something that we can do, right? Okay, book a massage. That's something we can definitely do. Okay. Then there's B-type goals. B-type goals are something we know we can do with a little bit more effort. B-type goal might be like go on a vacation to Costa Rica. Okay, that's something you know you could do with a little bit more effort. All you need to do is book the plane ticket, book the accommodation, and pack your bag. Get yourself to the airport. You know how to do that, okay? Why you haven't been doing it, I don't know. That's something else, right? And that's worth unpacking. So those B-type goals, you know how to do it. You just might need to put in a little bit more effort, work a little bit overtime, or think a little bit, whatever, book the plane ticket or research a little bit more about Costa Rica. Okay, but C-type goal is something that doesn't make any logical sense. If you thought about telling someone close to you that's not inside our community, you freak out because you're like, they're going to call me absolutely insane. A C-type goal is something that you don't know how to do it. You have no idea, and when you think of it, it gives you absolute butterflies. You're like, oh my God, I don't know how. This feels really crazy, but this is what I want. This is what I desire. It's illogical. It's stretchy. This is where we play. This is where we hang out. Do you feel the shift? Do you feel the shift between the 3? Yes. Okay. This is the excitement. This is the vibe around here. Because what happens when we lean in, this is transformation, chicos. This is transformation, okay? A B-type goal, an A-type goal, there's no transformation in that. A C-type goal is gonna fucking change you, okay? It's going to change you because you're gonna have to become a different version of yourself. Remember that analogy of the bridge? Here's you, present you. Here's you with that desire or desired experience manifested in your physical reality. There's a difference. There's a difference in everything sometimes. There's a difference in everything. The identity is different. The thoughts, the beliefs, even the physical appearance, everything is different. There's a stretch. We're going to dive real deep into this tomorrow. This is so exciting, but you feel the energy shift. Okay, so if we're saying, this is what I desire, if we can get our energy in the right place, remember that quote? I'll just interpret it again. That which you desire will find you when you are in perfect vibrational alignment with it, and when you are the best of yourself, the absolute best of yourself. Okay. This is how you're going to effortlessly, I'm going to say effortlessly, attract it in. Effortless, like actually effortless sitting around doing absolutely nothing but thinking about this desire all day long is not going to get you much of anywhere. Okay, before we close out today, I just want to quickly chat about masculine energy versus feminine energy. Okay, this is very important because, like I said, Bob Proctor is more in the masculine. This is what I mean. Okay, so here we are in a pretty healthy flex of both. Okay, the masculine is the logical, the figuring it out, the do, work harder, be stronger, work longer, do more. Okay, our initial response to like goal setting, I have a desire, now I gotta get to work. We get all frustrated and we're like, everyone get away from me, I got work to do. And you're like, I don't actually know what the fuck I'm gonna do, but I need to do something. I just need to do. Have you caught yourself doing that? This is because our society is extreme masculine. We are taught, even as women, we've got to do more, even like, and men too. Like, just because you're a man doesn't mean you need to be existing fully only in that masculine energy. Okay, there's this healthy flex, healthy balance of both. Okay, and then the feminine is this energetic, this feeling, this heart-led, this fluid, this like, warm, compassionate, I say feeling, meditative, visualizing, right? But if we have one, fuck, I'm going to tell you straight up, like my past business was very heavy in the masculine. It was exhausting. Did it work long term? Not really. And it was exhausting. Versus the feminine. If we're only in the feminine, meditating, visualizing, in the flow of everything, not making decisions, we're not going to get anywhere very far either, are we? We're going to be existing in fairy la la land, and we're not going to be doing much of anything. Okay, there's probably people out there that can challenge that, but I don't believe it. Okay, we need a mix of the both. Yes, the feminine. I would say we're like 60-70% feminine around here, and the remainder masculine, because the masculine is the drive. It's the fucking fire. It's the motivation, it's the action, because if we don't do anything about our situation, we don't actually take the first step, and we don't start. The bridge of incidents doesn't start until we take the first step. But it's not coming from a place of where we are now. It's not coming from, that first step is not taking action from where we are now. That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow, you guys. Are you excited? It's taking action from where we know we're going to be. It's inevitable. Okay, we're going to lean into inevitability. All right. So you see the shift? You see the difference? And so if we are existing in that energy of like, this is what is on my path, and it is on your path, there's a resonance, there's a desire, all you need, what did we say yesterday? The only prerequisite you need to change your experience, your circumstance, is a desire for a new one. A desire for a new one. That's all you need. So powerful, right? So this is where we begin to attract differently. When we begin to develop this new idea, these new ideas, this new situation, experience in our imagination, We call this our fourth dimension. Okay, this is our 3D, our physical world. It's expired. It doesn't mean much. We don't need to even allow it to impact us like we have been doing for so long. You know, the fact that I, lived in government housing and was like in the thick, lack and limitation. If I would have lived through that and made plans. Is it full?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, if I would have made plans and taken action and had thoughts and dreams from there, they would have been like this. And they might have also been like a long time in the future. Do you know what I mean? Because it's that logical linear. Well, here I am now. If I worked this amount of hours, then I would have this amount of money, and then I could save this money, and then I could put it in this account, and then I would, and then over this amount of time, I would have this amount of money, and then that's garbage, you guys. That's not how we exist here. Okay, we're going to talk more about that tomorrow. Logical ways of existing are boring. They take a long time, and they're very much masculine. We are multi-dimensional beings, spiritual beings with absolute limitless potential. And so here, through developing these new ideas, giving ourselves permission to allow the mind to go wild, just like dream freaking big with no limits at all. Get out your notebook. This is your homework for today. And there's going to be a couple more integration questions on the replays page. All things are possible. What do I want? What do I want? Because you are not limited. The only limitations you have are the ones that you create in your mind. Okay, feel the shift? Feel the excitement? This is so fun. This is so fun. Okay, so to wrap up, I want to talk a little bit more about prizes. I want to remind you to go again into the replays page and register if you have not until midnight tonight on May 24th, and watch the EFT. Get involved with the EFT. EFT is tapping, okay, and I do it pretty different than anyone I've ever experienced. It's my own theory. It's my own process, okay? So the EFT is going to be very powerful because as you begin to get deeper into this question of all things are possible, what do I really truly desire? You're going to have a lot of the mind show up. You're going to have a lot of like, how, who are you? A lot of that's going to show up. So the EFT is a very powerful tool to help you to see those, like help you to bring out that, I say like wake up the dead, like bring the dead back to life. You know, like sweep out underneath the rug everything that you've been hiding and holding on to for so long, everything you've forgotten about, bring it up so we can see it, bless it, love it, forgive ourselves, and release it so that it no longer has a hold on us. It no longer is who we are and who we identify as. And through this process, we shift everything. Because again, the world is a mirror. Whoever we believe we are, these ideas, these beliefs we've been holding on to, shape our reality. They shape our reality. But we're not here for it anymore, right? This is so fun. We get to create. We get to co-create our reality. So EFT is going to help you to shift that. It's going to help you to move into forgiveness. It's going to help you to let it go. And we're going to reprogram with some really fun affirmations in there too. Okay, so EFT is like tapping. You're tapping on acupressure points on various parts of the body. What else can I tell you? Prizes. Okay, so some of you have already manifested, manifested yourself a prize for sharing. So first way you can earn a prize, manifest a prize, is by sharing the I'm in graphic you received when you registered. Okay, it's in your email. It's at the end of the email. Share it to your stories. Make sure you tag me at the Jocelyn Dawn on Instagram or Facebook stories. Okay, make sure you tag me so I can reshare you and celebrate you, and also you will be getting a free secret masterclass as a gift for sharing, as a $97 value. So fun. Okay. Secondly, I want you to interact. Even if you're on the replay, like, it doesn't matter. Interaction is vital. So when you interact, and even if you share multiple times, like this is interacting, you get a chance to win free access into a secret course. Secret course. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you what it is right now, but know that the value is it's at least 333 US. Okay, so I will choose one winner for the secret course, the mystery course. So fun, right? Okay, so interact, say hi, get involved, screenshot your notes and send them to me. Like, message me directly and tell me all your wins and what's come up for you. If you need support in any way, shape, or form, right? Just message me. So tomorrow, we're almost at the hour mark. Tomorrow is a very exciting day. Tomorrow is VIP day. What does this mean? Okay, you've been waiting to hear what this means. So VIP day is an opportunity for us to come to this event as the version of us who is. What does that mean? We're going to get so deep into this tomorrow. But the version of us who already has this C-type desire, in Bob's words, manifested. Okay, this is you practicing living in this new identity. This is very powerful and it's so fun. Okay, so ask yourself as you're going through the journal prompt today, whenever you're watching this, how does this version of you move? How does she breathe? How does she feel? How does she think? How does she hold herself? How does she clothe herself? How does she care for herself? All of these things. What's her energy feel like? How does she look? All of these cool questions. So as we're going through that, if all things are possible, what do I desire? We get to start to build this new identity. That's what we're going to dive into deep tomorrow. All right, I'm going to lead you through a visualization tomorrow to go and meet this version of you to collect even more information about them. Okay? And then after tomorrow, you have a choice. I'll be sharing a couple different options on moving closer and joining our community, if you feel called to. But either way, you have a choice to continue on as that version of you, inevitably collapsing time and attracting that which you desire to you, or you can fall back into old habits and continue on going through the motions as life just happens around you. I trust that you know too much. I trust that you know too much now. You will not fall back into those patterns. I have people in my world that come in and out. Okay, you can come in and out. It's fine. But if you really truly want to collapse time, really truly want to, like, honestly, I said the other day, like, keep everyone else around you, keep your friends and family on their toes. You know, you do something or like you have a result that like people are just like, holy shit, how'd that happen? And then of course their logical mind is like, gosh, she must have a rich dad. You know, or she's lucky. Oh, she's lucky. I wish I was that lucky. This is what we're doing here. We're creating these results that leave everyone else like, WTF did she do to do that? And we don't have rich dads. I mean, I definitely don't. I don't know about you guys. Right? We don't have this, like, even a secret recipe necessarily. Because I hope that we can just show this from the rooftop so more people can get in this energy. Okay. So magical, right? Okay, you guys, go. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Interact, share, share, share. Get this out into the world. Really. Okay, I'm going to see you tomorrow for our last magical day together. And remember, come as the version of you who is. This is going to be so fun and going to make such a difference. Your whole entire day is going to shift. And it already has. You probably are like, holy shit, everything's changing at such a rapid rate. I'm so proud of you guys for doing the work. See you tomorrow. Get into those integration questions.